Sometimes you have to take stock of everybody in your life. You need to look at every person in your life and look at what they truly mean to you and what you truly mean to them. Sometimes you have to, it's kind of like an inventory of sorts. You've got to look at all the people in your life and say, is this person benefiting me or are they harming me? And sometimes you might be surprised. This may not be something you ever wanted to hear or want to think about, but sometimes you have to go through each person in your life one by one and figure out, are they for me or are they against me? Just because you've known them all your life doesn't mean they're for you. Just because you haven't known them 2 weeks doesn't mean that they couldn't be the best person you've ever met. It's not length of time, it's quality, okay? And I'll take quality of relationships over quantity any day. Having lots of close friends, is one thing, but having those people that you can truly count on, okay? Having those people that you can count on anytime, there's very few of those. Those people who, whenever something goes bad, you can call them up and they're there. Those are few and far between. But there's also a lot of people in your life who, well, they'll act like you owe them something. They'll act like they're always there, but then when you really start looking at them, you're going to go, have you really been there that much? And look at what you've done for them and what they've done for you. And this may sound selfish as hell, but sometimes you got to be a little selfish. It's your life, not theirs. Sometimes people are sitting there, they want you to think that they're giving you benefits while actually all they're doing is sponging off of you. Where they're stealing your energy, your time, your resources, and they're providing very little in return. It's all about mutual give and take. I want people in my life that count on me, but I also count on them. Equal give and take is what you want in life. Equal give and take. Not, where somebody gives to you once, you've given to them 500 times, and then they keep bringing up the one time like that got them credit for their whole life. Yeah. Yeah, don't tell me you don't have some of those. If you don't have any of those, then you're probably the one that's on the other side, and you're probably that person. So you may want to look at changing your life too. And if you're one of those that takes advantage of people and sponges off of people, probably time for you to start taking a long, hard look at your life and realizing that some things are changing in society right now. Might be a good time to become something other than a sponge, because you may not absorb water for much longer. But anyway, when you start looking at the people in your life that will do anything for you, the people that will be there when you're down, the people that when you're down low, if you were in hell, would reach an arm down and pull you up. How many people are there like that in your life? I mean, really, look. And what I'm talking about here is not just your own observations. I'm talking each part going to God in meditation and asking God about each person in your life. And I'm talking spare no one. I'm talking you've got to go all in on this or none. Not just the few that you want to find out about, not just the few that you don't want to find out about. You've got to go all in with it and say, God, I want you to reveal the truths of everybody in my life to me. And sometimes it's not pretty. And you will see things, oh no, that's not right. Accept truths for what they are. And make sure it's God talking to you, okay? And make sure that it's God pointing out these things to you. And you also have to, when you're doing this, you also have to have, you also have to be indiscriminate about it. And you have to, be able to have a, be impartial about it. You have to be able to look at things impartially. If you can't look at things impartially, then you're not going to be able to do this anyway. But if you ask God to do it for you, and if you ask God, just go ahead and start removing these people from my life that are not for me. Because it's like this. In my life, I only want people who are for me and who I am for them. And the people who aren't for me, get on. I don't need you. And if they're really having to sit there and sell you on why they need to be in your life, you know, your real friends, it sells itself. So, you've got to look at it from a standpoint of, in the long term, if you want your life to get better, you've got to start with yourself, but you also have to start with everything that's in your immediate wheelhouse. You have to start going through everything. You have to start going through everybody. And those people who are bad for you, there are people that are just straight up toxic to everyone you know. And what those people are, some people call them narcissists. It's people that are susceptible to what I call unclean spirits. You've got to go through your life, and if you want your life to get better, you've got to kind of banish those people from your life that are not good for you. The only time that I don't is if God tells me not to. I'll go through each person, I don't care who they are, and I ask God, do they need to be in my life? And if so, and I don't care why or why not, really. And God shows me whether they need to be or not. And just the same way He'll do with you. And if God doesn't answer you the way you want to hear, sometimes you've got to just take and swallow it. I mean, you've got to take the truth for what it is sometimes. And sometimes you don't want to, you don't want to see the truth sometimes. Sometimes some of these people you've had a lot of your life invested with them, and you've put them up on a pedestal. Oh no, they wouldn't be like that. The truth is harsh sometimes. And, just be honest with yourself. Be honest with God. And, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Just be like, hey, we've grown apart. And most of the time, and here's the one thing a lot of times, the ones who are truly good for you, they're going to fall. And I'm not doing this to try to get you to start manipulating people. Okay? I'm doing this so you can clean your life up and help make you a better version of you. Because if you want to be the best you, the people around you have to want the best them too. They have to want the best for you. And trust me, most people, just because you want the best for others does not mean they want the best for you. And you may be surprised some of the people in your life that you go, God shows you they're good. They may not be the nicest people in your life, but a lot of times a good person is not necessarily a nice person, and a nice person is not necessarily a good person. Remember that one. God's shown me that many times. Because I know some people that are just as nice as they can be, and they will screw you faster than anybody you know. So you've got to start looking at it and taking inventory in your life. If you're not taking inventory in your life, trust me, there's people in your life, I guarantee you, that they're taking inventory of what you've got so they can get it from you. And I hate that you have to look at life like this. But if you want your life to get better, the quality of people around you has to go up too. That's just, it is what it is. And it's like this. Most of the people in my life turn out good. And it's like, I have to go through everybody. That's what boundaries are for. And some people, if If there's no way you can cut them out of your life, you put up boundaries for them. Okay? You put up fences so to protect you. It's not to protect them. It's to protect you from them. Okay? You've got to look at it from that standpoint. Effective boundaries protect you, protect your spiritual health, protect your relationship with God, and protects your own self-image. Because some people, all they're there for is to try to destroy you. They're takers. And if you're a giver, a taker will take until you're all give out and then some, and then ask, well, why did the fountain cut off? So you got to look at it like this. Learning who those people are and getting them out of your life. And some people, they're just abusive to you, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah. Some people are just there to break you down a little bit at a time, one little remark at a time. And I hate that I have to even make a message like this, but God has been laying this one on me to make for a while. And, I try to be upbeat and positive, but some days you have to look at people like this. My life is not perfect at all, not by any means. But you know what? I love myself, I love my life, and I love the people in my life. And that's all that matters. I love God, and God loves me. And each day, I get a little better. Some days, may feel like you make several steps forward a day. Some days feels like you go back a few. But sometimes those days that you feel like you're actually going back, those are the days you're making the most progress, because you're dealing with something that God's wanted you to deal with for a while that you just really didn't want to deal with. And sometimes what feels like a loss is really a win in the long run. Okay? And each time that you lose something in your life, and some things really aren't losses, might I add, something great can come in to replace it with. Okay? So if you've got a lot of toxic people in your life, if you get your toxic cleaned up and get rid of everybody else's toxic, you can get some really great people around you. And you won't even have to seek them. God will bring them to you. Really. Or God will tell you where to go. And happenstance will bring them right into your life. If you believe, if you truly believe, then things can get better. And once they begin to get better, life gets real good after that. Anyway, I love you. God loves you. Peace.